is diesel engine. The diesel engine was named after and invented by a German inventor and mechanical engineer called Rudolf Diesel. It is an internal combustion engine in which ignition of the fuel is caused by the elevated temperature of the air in the cylinder due to the mechanical compression. Thus, the diesel engine is a so-called compression ignition engine. So what are the differences of diesel engine with petrol engine? Differences between these two engines is the ignition stage. For a petrol engine, the compressed mixture of petrol and air is ignited by the spark plug for combustion. However, in a diesel engine, the combustion is an effect from the heat of the compressed air, which then ignites the diesel fuel mixture. Hence, why spark plugs are non-existent in diesel engines and only require glow plugs to heat the combustion chamber. Petrol engines have a lower compression ratio compared to diesel engines, thanks to the aid of the spark plug and higher volatile fuel. On the opposite, diesel engines' higher compression ratio results in higher torque. This is one of the reasons why it is used in heavier vehicles such as trucks. Diesel engines are cleaner than gasoline engines and other alternative fuel engines as well. Diesel engines do not produce as much carbon dioxide as gasoline. They may produce more carbon dioxide than alternative fuels. Gasoline and alternative fuels produce many emissions that diesel do not. For example, the combustion of gasoline produces large quantities of carbon monoxide. Diesel produces almost none. Alternative fuels generate large amounts of nitrous oxides, far more than diesel. And diesel also does not require them.
The efficiency of an engine is depending on its thermal efficiency. Thermal efficiency is the percentage of the energy that goes into an engine that the engine converts into mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is the energy that generates torque, the energy that pushes a vehicle down the road. The greater the compression ratio of an engine, the greater the thermal energy, meaning the greater the compression ratio of an engine, the higher the percentage of the total energy fed into the engine, which become power as opposed to transfer into mechanical and kinetic energy. To make the thermal efficiency higher, the most effective factor is the engine compression ratio. The higher the compression ratio of an engine, the more complete an engine burns fuel. The higher the compression ratio, the greater the combustion efficiency. But combustion efficiency is not the only advantage of a high compression ratio. A high compression ratio also means a higher thermal efficiency. Keep in mind, thermal efficiency is the percentage of the energy that goes into an engine that the engine converts into mechanical energy. Diesel engine have a higher combustion ratio compared to gasoline engine due to its fuel properties. Diesel engine which uses highly compressed fuel to make the combustion, while the petrol uses spark plug to ignite the gasoline air mixture. Compression ratio increase thermal efficiency. The greater the compression ratio of an engine, the less energy an engine loses to convection and conduction, and the more that goes into putting pressure on crankshaft. The more pressure on crankshaft, the more torque on the drive shaft. The more torque on the drive shaft, the more power to the wheels. In conclusion, diesel engine is actually more efficiency compared to gasoline engine due to its design with higher compression ratio to cope with the diesel fuel property.
What is the range of the engine efficiency for diesel engine? As I explained before, during intake stroke, only air enters the cylinder. Then, there's a slight differences in the next two process compared to gasoline engine, which are the reason that affect the thermal efficiency of diesel engine. The important things to note is, during the compression process, only air is compressed, which is a big advantage as the air can be compressed to a higher compression ratio compared to gasoline engine. Gasoline engine cannot be compressed to a high compression ratio because at certain pressure and temperature, fuel will automatically ignite without spark ignition, and that is called as knocking. While diesel engine only compress the air. Air, on the other hand, can be compressed to high pressure and temperature without any knocking problem. So, diesel engine use this advantage to produce a higher compression ratio to increase the thermal efficiency of the diesel engine. This high compression ratio that range from 14:1 to 23:1 increases the thermal efficiency of diesel engine to around 40% to 50%. As a result, the high thermal efficiency together with lean combustion, diesel engine then produce higher fuel efficiency as compared to gasoline engine. So what is the main problem with diesel engine? First, diesel engine is heavier than gasoline engine equivalent. It is because compression ignition engine operates at high pressure and temperature. Moreover, during power stroke, diesel fuel is injected into the cylinder after the compression process is complete. The high temperature of compressed air ignites the diesel fuel and expands while pushing the piston down. This combustion occurs simultaneously at multiple locations in the cylinder. It produces less predictable reaction, so the combustion will create more vibration and noise. Therefore, it requires more rugged parts to withstand the high pressure, temperature and vibration. Unfortunately, stronger parts will require more weight, thus making it heavier. The next problem is diesel engine have low RPM range. It is because of the additional weight on the heavier parts that affect the motion of the moving parts in the engine. Moreover, diesel fuel burns slower than gasoline fuel. Thus, if the engine running at high RPM and in the same time the combustion of the fuel is not completed, there will be excess of unburned fuel in the cylinder that will then produce more soot at the exhaust. And not only that, it will then affect the fuel efficiency of diesel engine to be lower than when it's operate at low RPM range. The next problem is high emission of nitrogen oxide. Due to the high thermal efficiency of diesel engine, the exhaust temperature will be cooler than equivalent gasoline engine. It is because it converts more chemical energy to mechanical energy rather than converted into heat. The cooler exhaust temperature will make the catalytic converter to be inefficient, thus releasing more dangerous nitrogen oxide gas to the environment.
Good day, Doctor. Today I want to present about the technologies that contributed in improving diesel engines' performance and emissions. First and foremost, the most dominant technologies is the high fuel injection pressure, and followed by advanced fuel injection, and the third one is the exhaust gas recirculations and variable geometric turbochargings. For the high pressure fuel injections, the particle matter emissions, can be known as PM, are reduced through more complete combustion of fuel injector into the combustion chamber. Thus, more complete combustion can be achieved by improving the mix of air and fuel in the chamber. Modern high pressure fuel injection system will force the fuel into the combustion chamber through a smaller diameter hose at higher pressure. This will cause the fuel to break down into tiny droplets and therefore improve the air-fuel mix to achieve a more complete burn in the combustion chamber. Next is the advanced fuel injections. Advanced fuel injection technologies can be divided into common rail system and hydraulic electronic unit injection system. With these two systems will provide much greater control of fuel injection to improve the emissions and overall engine performance. In this system, the injection pressure and injection rate can be controlled independently of engine speed and loads, which is a departure from traditional fuel system.
These two advanced fuel injection technologies are really useful in the modern vehicles. Not only that, exhaust gas recirculation is one of the most advanced technologies that can contribute in improving the performance of the diesel engines. Exhaust gas recirculations, which can be known as EGR, will play a central role in achieving nitrogen oxide reductions for 2004 generation engines. EGR reduces nitrogen oxides by reducing the temperatures at which fuel burns in the combustion chamber. Engines will employing the EGR recycle a portion of engine exhaust back to the engine air intake. The oxygen depleted exhaust gas is mixed into the fresh air that enters the combustion chamber, which will dilute the oxygen content of the air in the combustion chamber. The reduction in oxygen will produce a lower temperature burns and hence reduce the nitrogen oxide emissions by as much as 50%. Lastly, the turbochargings. Turbochargings can both reduce the PM emissions and improve the fuel economy. A turbocharger will compress the air that enters the cylinder and will cause more air into the combustion chamber, and the combustion will be driven by a turbine, which will in turn is powered by the engine's own exhaust. The increase in air in the combustion chamber will offer two key advantages, which enables fuel to burn more completely and hence reducing the PM. Not only that, more fuel to be added to the chamber will generating more power than a similarly sized engine without a turbocharging. By generating more power from the smaller displacement engines, turbocharging will reduce engine wear and hence improve fuel economy. That's all. Thank you.